You know, I really did used to think I can get these done weekly. That shit ain't happening, man. On a more serious note, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate came out this weekend. I haven't gotten any sleep. Help me. I guess the first thing y'all probably came for, a large majority of you, was the xxxtentacion album, Skins. This thing was, I think, 18 minutes. Correct me if I'm wrong. Somewhere around 18 minutes, maybe 10 songs, something like that, maybe 11. I'm not sure. But it's almost like a lot of y'all didn't hear me months ago when I said I'm not going to be covering X's music anymore unless I have some thoughts about it in a playlist video. I guess y'all thought I was joking, but I fucking wasn't. And that's not to rub it in anybody's face. It's just a lot of people don't really expect me to keep to my word when it comes to this guy. And I just felt personally it was a little bit too close to his death just to give my thoughts about his album afterwards. I feel like at least when we get into 2019, a little bit further than that, maybe I'll give some thoughts in the format of a review or a reaction as well. But I didn't feel good listening to it. I also didn't feel good listening to it because I felt like the album was very incomplete. I thought it was very unfinished. I didn't think that there was nearly as much structure or feeling to this song to these new songs to connect to. Shrouded in nothing. I just don't know what this album is. It feels like X falling down a pit and he's going nowhere. And I don't mean this in a joking way. It's like this is the music that will be playing as he's being lowered into his grave. And it's like he's trying to escape the feeling, but there's nothing there. Don't get me wrong. I think X has a great voice. I like that he's able to rap. And I like, as far as his flow is concerned, while he was still here, how he was giving energy to the music that he was making. However, I don't blame necessarily just him for the lack of enjoyment I have for this album. A lot of people wonder why I've kept calling it a money grab, and I've said this multiple times because the label is charging $500 for his t-shirt. They're charging hundreds of dollars for his merchandise. People need to understand that they signed X for $10 million, okay? Even after taxes, that's a shitload of money for this kid. They paid the 10 mil. X died unexpectedly, and now they're trying to make their money back. And it's not easy to remake the money that it took that you invested into this kid. It's not going to be easy to remake that. The labels don't just have endless amounts of money. Sure, they can throw money around, but they expect to make it back when they sign these artists. It's not just, we're giving you money to be nice. So I don't think the label should receive flack for, you know, putting out merchandise and trying to make more money off X after he passed away. That's what they're supposed to do, unfortunately. I think they should be blamed for not making his album sound as nice as possible before putting it out in an attempt to make money. And I know a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, X said that, well, not X, but people around him or people close to him. First of all, we don't know these fucking people. I can't verify any of that. But they're saying that he knew how the album sounded. He knew what he wanted to make. This is how it was supposed to be. I don't believe that for 1 second. And even if that were true, you'd just be passing the blame back to X. The songs here were terrible. And I'm not even saying that from the point of view or from the opinion that X is, you know, we accept what he did now and we're looking at him as if he's past tense. I don't mean it in that way. I genuinely dislike the songs here, with the exception of the aesthetic of Bad and the exception of maybe the Train song. I think it's Train Food. Maybe I'm wrong. Again, let me know. X just seems like a computer program or an effect that they keep putting back into the songs. They keep looping him here. They keep undermixing him here. Like, it sounds bad. And that's just my personal opinion on it. You could be an X fan and still admit that. And you can look at the mixing on this album as an objective thing because we do have a standard for what good and bad mixing is. You can look at that as an objective thing. But I don't want to be upset in explaining that I don't like the album. Obviously, I'm not putting all the blame on him. I just feel like with an album like 17 or an album like Question Mark, I can't look at these albums, as short as some of the songs on there may have been, and say that X made this album with the intention of there being no direction, no structure, this extreme feeling of emptiness, and this lack of overall presence that he has on this project. I cannot sit up here and back that. Sorry. Speaking of depressing things and albums that maintain an aesthetic and also can back themselves up lyrically by maintaining a presence, we have Earl Sweatshirt with some rap songs, and I really enjoy The Mint. This is probably one of the best tracks on here. I know Earl went on Twitter not long ago and said he wanted people to describe the album without using the word mad villainy. But sorry, Earl, it's not fucking possible. It's mad villainy, or as the comment section have said recently, sad villainy. I've taken an extreme liking to this album the more and more I've listened to it, obviously. But one thing that I've also noticed about this project is just how connected it all is, just how grounded in its own foundation it is. I like how this album has this unaware understanding of its own existence, just like Earl has this understanding of his depression without trying to escape it. It just works, you know? I've already posted my final thoughts to this album. If you haven't seen it, it's there. Meek Mill with Going Bad featuring Drake. Also What's Free with Jay-Z. Both pretty good tracks. I like the one with Drake more because it's just a little bit cooler. And I don't like it more, but I just mean I like it as a shorter dose. It's a song that I can listen to back to back in more periods. That's not a pun anyway. I can listen to and consume it easier than What's Free. What's Free is a song I feel like I want to listen to when I want to avenge some people. When I hear Jay-Z rapping over that track, I get nothing but him rapping about his success as if it's revenge to his previous oppressors, even to the oppressors of this day. And I love the way he's rapping about it from an obviously jaded point of view, but he's rapping as if he knows that there's this peakless plateau, even though that's a fucking oxymoron. He knows that there's this moment at which the success is going to exceed the oppression. And I think that's why the album, not only the album, but this track specifically, has this feeling of jubilance and triumph, even if it has this darker aesthetic for the track. It's like Jay-Z knows how shitty things are, knows how shitty they can be, and still raps with a vengeful mindset that we're gonna fuck you up with the success. We're gonna fuck you up with power and control. Like, we're gonna be the dominant ones. I love the foundation of power in this track, even from Meek Mill and Rick Ross. You got Somersault with Smino featuring Bari. I love this track. This is easily one of my favorite tracks of the year. His rapping, he's got such swag with it. He's a wave. This dude is a wave on the beat, and he goes and gets into every nook and cranny, the places that you thought he couldn't go. He goes there. His voice is higher in some instances, lower in some instances. The inflections are cool. The delivery is weird and off kilter at certain moments, but it still sounds great. It's mixed well. It's perfect music to me. It just works. Those little pockets and those pieces where you think he couldn't fit, he manages to place himself. He just expands and reaches places in this track that I didn't think he could reach, and that's what makes the song so enjoyable for me. Not only that, but this "You don't let me, you" in the back. Oh my god. You don't let me, you ain't enough of my kids. Little mama. Benny the Butcher also came out with an album, I believe a week, maybe 2 weeks ago, called TANA Talk 3, the third installment of his TANA Talk series, where he talks about the drug game, the street life. But the thing I like more about Benny the Butcher, as opposed to maybe a Pusha T, for instance, or a Nipsey Hussle or a Meek Mill, is even though they rap from a very, and I guess I'll keep the perspective and the comparison here between him and Pusha T. The difference between Pusha T is the delivery is, I feel, the thing that I need to pay attention to the most. With Benny, it's still like he's stuck. I don't want to say stuck as if it's a negative, but it still seems like this album was painted from that time frame. I see everything vividly clear, even if it's got this smokiness in the background, as opposed to a Pusha T where he raps primarily about dealing and how things were in the street. From Benny's perspective, it seems like each moment of this lifestyle impacted him in a different way, to the point where he needs to describe how he felt at this moment and how he felt at this moment and what he did here. He references on 97 Hove by saying having dreams of packing the money back when I was young. It's interesting that he referenced back when he was young because it still sounds like he's there. The whole atmosphere of this album feels like he's still never left, even though he's here in present time. It still seems like he's a time traveler. Benny the Butcher is how I would have wanted J-Rock to sound. Just as hungry, just as energized. J.I.D, J.I.D with Dicaprio 2. Awesome album. Love the Dicaprio reference. There's not much that I have to say. Most of the tracks on here are great. Like the whole thing from start to finish. Just flows are incredible. His rapping is incredible. His inflections are incredible. The moments and pockets where he manages to harmonize and sing a little bit are great. There's just no moment in here where Jit seems like an amateur, like he's experimenting with something that he hasn't tried before. He's in constant motion. There's no stop. There's no park for Jid. You know, this album is in constant drive. You already know about Dicaprio too. If you don't, check it out. Ski Mask came out with an album too called Stokeley. I know a lot of y'all wanted to hear my thoughts on that one. I honestly recorded my reaction to it and stopped halfway through because I just got bored. It wasn't the same Ski Mask to me. The album was cool. I just didn't think it was up to snuff with some of his earlier records. I felt like he was a lot more experimental, or at least trying to create something before that was a little bit more loud, a little bit more flamboyant, I guess. Here it just seems like it's very low tone. Even his rapping seems a little bit more controlled, which is not something that I went to Ski Mask for. I wanted you know, the lack of structure actually added to a lot of his replay value for me. I liked how all over the place he was at certain moments, and just how he would rhyme whatever. He seemed to be a really good technical rapper without necessarily a concept, and that made him a more interesting artist to listen to, because I could hear him rap all these different fucking words that have nothing to do with each other and just hear him go in and have fun. Here it seemed like there were actual attempts at creating a song. Some of them had structure that made Ski Mask as an artist appear a little bit awkward. And the songs here that didn't really have that, like the Faucet track, are the ones that I really enjoyed. I didn't feel like they were bright enough or they exploded enough. You know, I wanted an explosion on this album, something to happen, something to break him out, but it just feels very low. It just, you know, how they ask you at the doctor's office, you walk in, they say, are you feeling like a 10? Are you feeling like a 1? You say, I'm feeling like that bitch in the middle that's got like his eyes slanted. One of them's open. It looks like he's got a bruise on the side of his cheek. Maybe he's been getting abused at home. Maybe he's a foster child. I don't know. But all I know is that kid in the middle between 10 and 1 is always going through it. And that's how I felt when I was listening to this album.
Flyer than a fucking ostrich. Okay.
Ostriches don't fly, you fucking asshole. He found the need to say it twice. Why? I love this song though. You off the hook, but you still a bitch. Cause that don't make no sense. Check out YG's damn, what the fuck was that track? Damn it. One Time Coming. That's what it's called, I think. One Time Coming is an old YG track, but I remember hearing it. I forgot what video I was watching where I heard it, but I heard it in the background. I was like, let me check this thing out again. I had to pull it out the vault, blow the dust off the vinyl, look at it. I don't have a vinyl for this thing. I don't know why I just lied like that. Dusted it off, listened to the track. I was like, yo, I'm a blood. Like, that's all there is to it. I'm a blood now. Nobody can tell me shit. If a Krit walked by and asked me, I might not be a blood at that moment, but as soon as he walk away, I'm a blood again. That's all I'm saying. Lee Siren in this track as the beat, and YG talking to these officers like he's always had this vendetta. I mean, it makes sense, but like, y'all the enemy, basically. Like, this is where we draw the line. Fuck you, basically. Like, I love that. The whole track is a diss to the police, but it's also like an awareness to those in the street. Like, listen, this is just standard shit. This is procedure. All right. One time coming. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Everybody start running.
One time coming.
One time.
Yeah. Just shoes on, nigga.
Oh shit, yeah, the one time coming. Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Everybody start running. Don't forget to check out Peachfuzz from Tabby. I like the two perspectives of the same whole, you know, different halves of the same whole. I like that being a nice duality in the album. I like how he represented himself in a more unique way than a lot of artists in his position probably would, feeling the need to be a lot more braggadocious when they first come out, or bring forth these lyrics and bars about how hard they are and how, you know, many other rappers they'll dead. He kept it really personal, even though there were still subtle shots at industry, shots at, you know, the scene right now. I love how he didn't make it a YouTube diss thing. It didn't feel like a YouTube album. It felt like an artist. Like, it felt like this was made by an artist. And one of my favorite tracks, though, is definitely Orange Boy. I don't know how he did it with this hook, but I can't hear it in my right ear for some reason. Well, maybe that's because it's my fucking left ear. Also, don't forget to check out Glorious from Big Krit off of his most recent EP. I think that was a single, though. I'm not sure. But my albums of the year is coming soon. Honorable mentions is coming soon. Worst albums coming soon. And my top 20 to 30, maybe 50 songs this year is also coming soon. So stay tuned for that in the final week of December. I'm actually really excited to do this one because there's a lot more music that I want to talk about. So thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time. Until then, I'll be playing Smash Brothers. No, I'm not ready to play online because I'm not trying to get my ass beat yet. You don't realize how seriously I take this shit, but it's my life. Smash is my life. I smash. They smash. I smash. Smash is what I do. Don't come at me. Don't ask me no questions. I smash. And yes, I mean that in so many different ways.